Good evening, and welcome to tonight's session. My name is Mulalo Namatayeni. I am the founder and president of Empowered Woman. And as Empowered Woman Book Club, we read a book a month and then we review the last Sunday of the month on Zoom. So we have been reading a book since July 2019. And over the past 6 years, Empowered Woman has really transformed to a community where we are empowering, educating, and celebrating each other as women. And I always say that for me, it is the quality of the women that are part of this community. We have everyone from the students, from the single women, the married women. The women that are looking for jobs, the women that are employed, those that are running their own businesses. We've got professionals, we've got hustlers, divas, and everyone in between. And one of the things that we value the most is inclusivity, community, and also just being able to be celebrated as an individual, as a woman. As you can see from our logo, the I is an individual and it's empowered woman, not women. So we created a space where we want you to be yourself, to take opportunities and to also share opportunities and lead. So before we go any further, we will start with our introductions where you can unmute, share about yourself. You're most welcome to share if there's anything that you would like to be celebrated on, and then we take it from there, or just an update in terms of what is happening in your world. Lee Kambule, are you available to introduce yourself?
Good evening, ladies. Yeah, no, you got me off guard there. Yeah, my name is Lydia Kambule. I don't know what is it that you like to know specifically, but yeah, I only joined the club recently. I think the first time I attended was when Mam Winnie Serobe was there, and I just ordered the book on Friday, so I'm waiting for the book to arrive. So I'm looking forward to today's session. Thank you, ladies.
Udume ngani?
Ngidumengani, preaching God's word. I think that's what I'm known most for. Yeah, I've been a Sunday school teacher. April, it was 30 years that I've been teaching kids the God's word.
Oh my word, 30 years. Okay, before some people were born. Teho, you are welcome to unmute, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Tiro. I'm based in Centurion. All books and beautiful trails. In my space, I do projects that has to do with media. I run my small business. I'm a mother, above anything else. And then anything adventurous, anything hiking, anything book, anything, anything those three, I'll leave my home and go rush to it. Literature spaces where books are, where we do projects that has to do with books, where we get people to think or make them think that reading is fashionable, and also talking about it in terms, showing them what we mean, because when you read, the conversations are different. So when you start reading and you start wanting to know more, the conversations becomes deep and different, and you want to dig. And but the more you read is the more you understand that you know nothing. So the best way is to keep on putting your nose in between those pages. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teho, for the introduction. Kolani.
Good morning, afternoon. My name is Bolene. Sorry, the background noise. I don't know how to move it to the headset. My children are making so much noise.
We love the
But I
children.
think my name is Polani. I also stay in Centurion. I'm from Pumalanga. I'm a mom. Um, Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think one of my biggest things that's weighing heavy in my heart is I just had this dream of starting a school, and of late, it's just really been bothering me, but I don't know where to start. But I think I'm just hopeful that, I'll be able to get that breakthrough. Or always very happy to be in this space. I do catch the sessions randomly, and then I am able to. I'm so happy that today we're doing Mom Gloria, because the last time we had her, I missed that session. But I'm really, really looking forward to the session today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who is available and would like to introduce themselves? I just picked on those ones because I knew they were available. They were here when we started at 6. Anyone else? Dr. Shulami Bola?
Hi guys. Oh my God. I'm
Hello. I loved saying
going
that.
to
Dokotel.
scream. To scream, guys. I have missed you. I have missed you so much. Wow.
Udokotela manje.
Hey, sengibuyanga ngidokotela. God. Hi. Okay, I'm sorry. Hi everyone. My name is Shulami Mbola. Um I live in Johannesburg. I live in Johannesburg, Checkers. But currently I'm in Eastern Cape at the University of Forte doing a research. That's the reason why I've been missing so many book reviews. And I have missed you. And I'm available today because they cancelled on the last minute. And I was like, I am not missing a book review. Oh my God, I'm not missing it. I have missed our press com. I've missed hearing her voice. Where is she? I just need her to say hi, please.
Hello, hello. Hi, doctor. Oh my word. We are so proud of
Yo,
you, and people are in different journeys. I was saying this as I do the introductions to say, for me, is the women that show up for themselves in this space and being able to see each other, celebrate each other on this journey. So thank you for taking the break that you needed and for showing up when life allows, because this is the journey that we go through as women, and we must appreciate the journey and also celebrate each and every win, success, and also the curveballs and also the detours that we all take. And anyone else that would like to introduce themselves so we hear your voice, how you're doing before I hand over to Tseho? Ndibuo, you're welcome to unmute.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. My name is Ndivuo Nemandive. I'm a mother of 5. I live in Bembe in Limpopo. It's my first time here in this platform. How I knew about this, at some point I felt sure my life is boring. I'm a reserved person. I don't have friends. So when August came, I started to look for this thing for women so that I can make friends. So that's how I know Brado from someone. But anyway, it's my first time here. I'm hoping I will enjoy.
Thank you very much and
Thank you very
welcome.
much and welcome.
And just to add, she
And just
joined
to
on
add,
our
she joined
conference
on our
on the
conference
9th
on the 9th
of August.
of August.
Yes. So with that said, ladies, you're most welcome. Tonight we are having the session that we have all been waiting for. Me and Tejo were showing off our books before the session started. We're like, yes, finally, finally, finally. So Tejo, over to you so that you can do our introduction and hand over to Meg, Gloria, and then you also take us through the discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for joining and being on time. Mama Tomatoe, you are welcome. Thank you for making the time when we asked, because we were saying we are going to be talking about what you have written to us and the things that we learned from the book. Thank you so much for being here. It will be different because you're here and you'll be able to tell us the perspective, looking at how we read the book and how you wrote it. Welcome, and you are more than welcome to say hi, and then we'll continue.
Hi, how are you guys?
We
Hi,
are
Mom. How are you?
good.
I'm
Glad to
looking
have
forward
you
to the
here.
discussion. I'm really looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I want to introduce our author guest. Mama Gloria Tomatoe Serobe is a founding member and CEO of ImPower'd and is a leading activist for community upliftment, the empowerment of women, and the sustainable transformation of the South African economic landscape. She's been recognized for her leadership in business and community activism with numerous awards and a number of honorary degrees. Mama, really to be with you. And to start the conversation on the book, I was firstly taken by someone writing about their mother-in-law. You know, mothers-in-law have a very bad name. I think there's a spice that's called mother-in-law. And when I got to get the spice, I tasted it and I'm like, okay, is that how it is? I was very unfortunate. I did not find my mother-in-law, but I found pieces of her that men do things the way that she did them.
Wow.
They even call me with her name, yeah. So I don't know. I dreamt of her because I've seen a lot of her pictures, but in the dreams, she was thinking to myself, I'll read the book. I don't know this woman, but there's so much that I get from people telling me how she was and how fierce she was, how strong, and that I think another thing is that she was the only girl. So toughened her, and she was all that. Yeah. So when I saw this title, that was one thing. Besides knowing you from the media space and Danielle, and this was like, what an ode to my mother-in-law. You're not even talking about your mother. You're talking about the mother who birthed your husband, you know, someone who did not birth you, someone that you've got to know later on in your life when you got married. And normally we got married around late 20s, whatever. So the person who you met at that time, not the person that has known you. And then a mentorship of love and honor. I'm like, what? I need to get this. And then reading through your book, I don't want to lie to you, I made a lot of notes. I'll send you now when the thing is done. At the back with my pencil, because I was awed, I was taken. I was like, is this possible? You know, my mother had a very great mother-in-law because my mother's mother-in-law raised us. So that was number one. She raised all of us, and she said to my Rakhadi's kids and said, these are my kids. You must go to your father's house to get this raising. I'm raising my son's kids because they are my kids. They have my blood. So I got to understand there what a mother-in-law is from my mother's mother-in-law, you know? So reading a book, it was like taking me through to my childhood because my mother's mother-in-law was not like my mother's mother-in-law. It was like my mother's mother. That's how I got to know her until she died when she was 89. So that's the only thing that I know. And I didn't know if there's anything else that existed outside of that, because you get to know things because you experience them. Otherwise, you read about them. Like I'm reading this story and I'm like, what? I would like to share with the members of ImPower'd Book Club this lesson that I circled in bold and highlighted, and I made sure that I don't forget it, and I recite it all the time. It says, be humble and teachable. Allow yourself to respect the family into which you have married. Embrace their traditions and rituals. At the appropriate time and space, share with your mother-in-law how your family may have done things. Build together. That was a punch for me. So, ladies, there's lots of lessons in here. Once you get the book, you get them at the back as you go along. There's also other lessons. There are written lessons, but when you're reading a lesson, you see that this is a lesson without it being named a lesson. There's lots of them, and Mama is talking a lot about how you should behave. So with this opening, I'll give it to her to give us that, and then we'll continue with the conversation. Thank you.
So you want me to go ahead?
Yes, Mama.
All right. I guess the first thing is you want to know why I wrote the book and what triggered that. And it's a weird book, really, in the sense that the general story is the opposite, right? So let me start with my family. My mother-in-law passed on 2013. So she is 12 years gone now. And I've been married 38 years. So she's brought me up in the 26 years. And that the time I grew up under her is longer than the time I grew up under my own mother. What is most interesting about your own mother is just that we are emotional about it. You go to boarding school, you go to university. So even the time you count with her is interrupted because you are growing up, you're a child going to school, you're doing all sorts of things and so on. So I don't have a seamless 30 years with my mother. That's not why I wrote the book. I'm just explaining the reality of all of us because I got married at 26. I'm now 66. So I'm 40 years in this family and I was 26 years in my own home, if you get my brief. And it's 26 years of being a child, growing up, napkins, and so on and so on. Whereas this one is 40 years of adulthood. Just to fast forward, if it goes very well, if it works, it's when you see your mother-in-law continuing from where your mother left. It should be like that because you are still a child when you're getting married to these people. You don't know most things. You're a child at home, you are a child here. And so when you come in here, first prize is that this mother must take over from your mother and continue from where she left. And so when I'm saying she passed on 2013, and so in 2012, December, we were on holiday, big family holidays where you have quizzes and talking nonsense really. You're on holiday. And so the question one day was each one must answer, what are you going to do this year? And so my response was, it is December 2012. This year I'm going to launch my mother-in-law's book in August because she passed on in August 9. I'm going to launch this book. That's what we're going to do. And then they asked, have you written the book? No, I haven't written the book. Have you got the manuscript at least? No, I have nothing. But it's December. How are you going to do this? I said, I'm going to do it. All you can do is find a venue for me because exactly on August 9, 2013, 10 years, I'm going to launch a book. And the book is an ode, is a tribute to her. So this conversation is in the afternoon, so everybody thinks, there's been a lot of wine drinking now. Let's stop this. She's not sober, definitely. It can't be that book is going to be done. So they laugh, funny, haha, and so on, and so off they leave. Holiday ends January now. I have to confront this. I look for a publisher first. What does it take to write a book? Because I need to write a book. I haven't started, but I need to launch it in August. All the publishers just laughed at me. And until this one publisher who is still not as big as others said, I will take up the book, but your deadlines are going to be very tight because you need at least 12 months. And the more I convince them that I won't need the 12 months, there's no research outside. I'm going to write from my heart. And so it doesn't need the 12 months. So that's how I wrote the book. And so the deadlines were very tight by all means. Tight to the extent that for it to be launched in August, by June, I should have finished everything. It must go for print. They must use July for printing. So it became quite a hectic exercise. The beauty of the book itself, I was writing a story I like. I was relating to people that I like, hopefully people my age who are getting married today. And I was sharing my wisdom to the extent that I can. And the whole thing is open your heart, allow this mother to love you, and be the child. And of course, I was not dismissive of the fact that you can find a horrible one. All I was saying is open yourself for this love. It might be there, but secondly, you are getting married to this family. You coming from your own. I come from Cape Town. I'm marrying in Johannesburg, in Diepkloof. I do not know these people. We all have our own traditions and things to do. What happens when so and so dies? What happens when the child is born? These are their rituals. And so you're married here, and you have to assume you don't know none of them and make yourself, open yourself to be taught. Have some humility to understand it. And because some of the rituals are old and they were meant for those old times, you can make it work. You can revise them, you can make it better. But my attitude is that first, know them first. Once you know and you're settled with them, you can suggest improvements to it. You can, but don't go there and say, "Oh, me, you pour aloe into the water and whatever to wash me when there's somebody who's old, who's dead here, and I come from a home where we don't do that stuff." You know what I'm saying? Point of the matter is they do that stuff here, and they are alive, they're not dead. And therefore, there's nothing that stops you from doing these things which look odd to you because you come from another home. And just indulge them and do what gets done here. And if you think this thing can be improved by, I'm just being ridiculous now, instead of washing with aloe and whatever, buy a spray. Spray people with this aloe spray. I'm just saying something very stupid. So I think for me, that is what actually helped me here. But then I have to also accept that I was privileged to find a mother who was keen to hold my hand and teach me and take me to the next level of being a woman. She was a feminist and she was a community worker and she was a qualified nurse. And so she's seen it all. And so when she looks at me and my career, she sees exactly that. The pressures on time, the what can go wrong with not being at home and so on. And then she kinds of comes in and fills up these gaps. And somehow, because in the end, however those mothers look like, first prize is to see their children being happy. In this case, that is your husband. And so the help is there, the families are big, the extended homes are there. Even this thing of not being able to go to your children's events at school and stuff like that, these grandmothers want to do that, these aunts want to do that. The child is never alone. But we, in the new modern life, we're starting to believe that you are the only one who must go there. Oh, the child is swimming. So a grandmother can watch her swim and praise her and clap hands and do all of that. She's playing rugby, can do all of that. You are not there. You are staff at home. And I saw, is it Nduvuo who said he's got 5 children. Nduvuo, you've got 5 children, but you also have a career. So somewhere in between, somebody needed to help you hold your hand and so that you can do both. So I think let me leave that. It's just a summary. Let me leave that there so that we can have the discussion as opposed to a monologue like I am saying. But just to summarize and say, the book for me is a tribute to my mother-in-law for being that mother that I needed when I'm starting new things. I'm starting new marriage, I'm starting new career, I'm starting having the children, and she comes on board and carries me through this with all the love in the world and with all the discipline in the world. Reprimand me when she has to, and when that happens, I wouldn't sit and think, oh, this woman is a witch. Because my mother, sometimes when she talks and reprimands me, I think it's my mother talking. Because at some stage, they pretty much behave the same way. Sometimes they can be very insensitive and all of that. But once you stop thinking that this is another mother like yours, part of the breaking comes in there when she says, "I this child is very cold, wrap her in the blankets now. Why is she? She's going to have a chest problem, whatever." Because as a young couples, we think the child must not be overloaded with blankets. In their world, the child must be wrapped and suffocated with a blanket. When she does that, she's exactly doing what your mother would have done. And so it has nothing to do with the fact that she's saying you can't bring up a child and so on and so on. Of course, there are different styles of saying the same thing. So let me leave it at that because I would rather I dealt with the questions and I'm happy to deal with them. Thank you, Tseho.
Okay, Mama, thank you. I think the overview, you summarized the part of why you wrote it and what the components are part of the book. And now reading the book, I saw a lot of faces in it. You spoke about your husband's family, you speak about your own family, where you come from. You speak about how they did things. Like you said, your mother-in-law's mother-in-law also helped her to fit in the family. And that's what your mother-in-law did for you. And that was a lesson for you because you also did that when your son got married. So for me, it looks like it was a chain, and they were actually teaching you how things are done in the Serobe family, you know.
Yeah.
And you speak about also there's things that I wanted to ask, like when you get married, your mother-in-law was the one buying the dress. Like in our culture, it doesn't happen like that. I'm not sure if in Costa it's the same because I'm Tswana, and your parents, your family are the ones who should be doing your dress. So can you elaborate a little bit? I was so shocked when I read that they are supposed to be the one buying you the dress. I was like, what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in their family, they do pay for local kamakoti, ne?
Okay.
So you make the choice, you do what you have to do, they pay for that. In my case was weird now. I am in Pretoria and I don't know Johannesburg as much. I'm from Cape Town and I need to shop for this dress. And my husband asked me to his mother, to help me look for the dress. So we go to this store in Johannesburg. We find a dress that fits. I was still size 32 then. So it was easy to just pick on a dress on the rails and fit it. And it worked very well. It's very nice. Take them. The dress now, she takes it home. It will come like a day before I get married. When they come to Cape Town, they will bring the dress. That's strange, isn't it? Now,
Extremely.
extremely strange. The dress now is with her all this time. When the dress comes in Cape Town a night before, I look at the dress. It's still the same thing, but the dress is a bit different. The dress is a bit different. It turns out her and her friends were excited about this dress. So they open it again and they love it. But it is plain. It is quite plain. And they have a friend at Mufulo who knows how to pour the shiny things on the dress. So they took the dress to her and she pours these shiny things, bling now. The dress had shoes. They also had the bling shoes and the bling hat and the bling dress. So everything is bling bling now. They've put this thing. It's not like there was a phone call that says, Sissy, can we do this? No, the one a day before I got married. Ukuba, Ilokiam is a bit different now. In a blink now. Whatever. For whatever reason, because you are freaking out now already. It's like, how dare? In the first place, what was the dress doing with her? But for me, in a funny way, it came from a place of love. They could not have wanted to spoil my dress. In the excitement, they did what they did, and I thought it's also pretty, it's nice, and whatever. But where am I? Isn't that the end game? You just want to marry this guy. The dress is incidental, isn't it? And that was my attitude to the dress.
Wow.
Um, but I see, I see a lot of things running around there. I want to hear what you think about that.
Okay. Anyone who wants to go in regarding the issue of the dress, we can do that so that we can move to the next topic.
Okay.
Anyone?
I will come in because I'm the one that put the hearts. When I read that part, I was like, glitters, this is so me. So I loved that she did that. But when you mentioned that for you, you wanted to marry the guy, that I was like, oh wow. Because sometimes we want to put all these things in front of love, but the dress did not matter. You were about to marry your person. So that's why I threw those hearts. I see May Wendy's hand is up. Maybe you can go next, May Wendy.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, Ma'am Tomato, Wendy was Senate Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I just wanted to say, Uguti, these are such wisdom lessons because with me, what we experienced is that my sister-in-law's daughter-in-law, we made a dress for her. She did choose the dress, and the dress was made, but she didn't like the material and made such an issue about it that the foundations of this marriage were so shaky because of that dress, and actually the marriage ended because what started it off was the dress. So I just think there's so much wisdom, in what you are sharing, Uguti. At the end of it all, you just want to marry this guy. A dress should never be something that causes so much friction to the end of somebody's marriage. But thank you so much for sharing your heart. I haven't read the book. I couldn't find the book because I think Mulalo bought all the books, but I will definitely get a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Anyone
Thank
else on the issue of the dress? Okay, let me move. Mama Wendy, sorry, Mama Tomato.
Mm.
Your book, it's not a lot, but it has a lot in it. And now changing the just a little bit. There was a part where you spoke about your father-in-law and that Winnie Serobe and how he changed when you came into the family.
Yeah.
How he was different compared to how his own children know him. Can you tell us a little bit about this man?
So he had a drinking problem, and so the children they gravitated more towards the mother because of that, and call it alcoholic then if you want. And I was very much aware of that. And the only thing I did was to be dismissive of that. I took him on as the father that is not alcoholic. I benefited so much from this because I think at a certain point, he too wanted to be this father that I was making him out to be. So, for example, I had a company car and I just come from the US. My driver's license I got in the US and it was an automatic. Then now I had to buy a manual here in the US to call it a stick shift or something. And I didn't know how to drive a manual, but I have to have a company car, which is a manual car. And it's my father-in-law who took me through those lessons. I had to take a new driver's license with a manual. And so at the beginning, he would take me to work in the car and fetch me. And when we come back, we go to Nazareth. He gives me the driving lessons, and we come back home until I got the license. So I was taught a driver's thing by my father-in-law. I was taken care of by him, and he loved me dearly. And so in the end, where he rolled with my car, right? And he was not very sober when that happened. And it was a disaster for the family. And on my side, it was an accident. And so we changed the car. I still left the car keys in the house with him. I think that showing him faith and love and respect and no judgment is what made him to be the father that they almost missed. And so in the end, my being in the system actually changed the system altogether, including with his children. And they actually found that they have the kindest of fathers. And so in what am I saying now? I had to be intentional about it, and it paid off. Why was I intentional about it? It's because I could come from as an outsider and actually see him and make no judgments. Remember, I haven't gone through the experiences they had of having a father who was alcoholic. I understood that too. But in my coming in, I suspended all my judgments about him. And in the end, it turns out actually he is the kindest man that you can possibly find. And so the children, by the time he passed on, they had a father that they never had. And I'm always grateful for that. And I'm always, so that's what happened. It's a,
Okay, Mama. We are learning so much from the things that happened and how you took them. I think it takes a special person to take things from being lemonades to make them, from being lemons to make them lemonades, because you were able to make yourself feel and be intentional about what you wanted to do. As a result, you're so good. And even after accidents or whatever, you still continue to be the person that you wanted to be so that you can build the family and not have disputes and stuff. I'm sure there were disputes, but I think more than that, there were joyful times where you traveled. You speak a lot about the travelings that you used to do, Christmas, New Year's, and being with the family. And you speak so respectfully about your husband's siblings, the brothers and sister, and the other one who passed away earlier on in life. Yeah, and you speak so boldly and so also kindly and fondly of them as your new family, you know. And besides the lessons here, you take us through the moments where things could have been bad, but you managed to see these things from the place of love. Like the other time you said you guys were renovating the house and you put most of the things at your mother-in-law's place. And then when you came back the other time, there was a function and you saw that your things were being used by the people, the guests who were coming in. And now in my own view, I would have flipped like, these are my, not necessarily expensive clothes, but these are my stuff and I don't want to buy more. And you taking them and meaning I can't have them back. So can you share with us that experience? I was like, there was a lot of aha moments for me when I read this, because I was thinking of myself and like, why can't the person communicate with me and say, Mtanam, I've got people here, they're a bit poor and I want, or whatever the case might be. Can you, like, communication, that thing of letting me know, letting me, or making me aware, or because you're going to be using my things. I'm just talking from that experience, from that point. Yeah.
It should have been a deal breaker. So we were renovating our house, so we had to get out of our house and go and rent a flat. And because now the flat is small, most of our things stayed in her house. And what are the clothes that are you going to keep there? The ones that I wear every day to go to work are the ones that are going to remain with me in the flat where I stay. The ones that are going to be there are the ones where you are for special occasions, for the wedding, for whatever. So the clothes that were with her were the most expensive of the clothes, because ones you wear to work every day are kind of like, daily clothes. So these were my prime clothes, my prime shoes. And if you are old enough, there was a store here called Escada. Escada was in Central City. Escada was very expensive. And some of my clothes were coming from there for occasion. So what happened now is that because we were in this flat for 6 months, and so one of those weekends, she asked me to come and help her. She was doing a feeding scheme for the Blind Association. We were cooking for them, and so kumbis were going to come from everywhere to here. They're coming for lunch and so on, from Pretoria, from Vereeniging, from where it's a happy day for the blind people coming in kumbis. And so she wanted me to come and help with the doing the food and all of that. So I was there early in the day. And so when they arrive in the kumbis, remember these are blind people, they are dressed to kill in my clothes. I mean, I still remember this silk shirt and a cashmere jacket, like very expensive clothes. And they are worn now by these people. And so that's when I discovered that she had dished out my clothes. And the reason, and I'm like, yo, Mama Bantu, really? So when they left, so I said, but Mama, really, my clothes? I said, wow, I will see. What's about that? Like, did you need them? This is what do you mean? The thing is, in her mind, they were here for a long time. If they are there for 6 months, it means I don't wear them. But these were clothes for special occasions. That's why there was no wedding in between. There was no cocktail, whatever in between. If you can visualize now, the clothes that you put in the back of your wardrobe are the clothes that you don't use. Every day comes a function, then you go there and take those. I did not have any of the events in the 6 months. And so in her mind, she thought these are clothes that I don't even remember now. It could have been a deal breaker. The issue here is that, again, I looked at her simplicity about it. She didn't wake up one morning and decide to hurt me with those clothes. The error is that of not phoning me and say, can I dish out some of these clothes? That she should have done. In the end, I look at this is maybe 30 years later. I've got more clothes than I need. I've got more clothes than I had then. I've been blessed with a little bit more. And so you could have made an event out of this and create a drama out of this. The point, I think, I can also say it came from at the back of you've banked a lot of deposits from this woman. She has loved you so much. She has given so much to you. This era is not a deal breaker because when you look at your bank deposit, from all the things she has done for you, this pales into insignificance. And so maybe in that case, I don't know if it happened on day one, maybe, but yeah, that's what happened to me. I did not make it an event. I let it pass because she had no ill intentions. I'm back to you can have another mother doing the same thing to you, and you will know when she's being willful. You will know when she's being nasty to you. You will understand it. The same activity, same action. You will know it. In my situation, I didn't because I had banked so much good from her, and that this one event was coming on top of so much love. And I could not have seen anything willful about it. But very expensive clothes, eh?
I don't even know the shop. I don't want to lie, but I think I get you where you're going. Mama Wendy says if it's clear that she knows the shop, and she says if it was me, I would have a mental breakdown. Because I think she knows the store. I don't know it. I'm not that young, but I don't know it. I'll be 45 in the next couple of months, but I don't know it. I'll ask my mom. Okay, Mama, thank you so much. I get you, and there was also a point of this blindness in the family, and this you touched a lot on it. You went back to your mother-in-law's family that had that, and how she helped people from other places. I know in Garangua we have a space in Zone 2, and it is also part of the organizations that you mentioned here, because I'm from Garangua, so there's a
Yeah.
special place for where they sit and where they do the work. So when you mentioned it, I remembered because we do stuff as there, and then we're trying to keep the place moving so that people don't get bored, but they get that attention as well. So I
Yeah.
was happy to read about that from that time when I was not even maybe aware of what was happening because maybe I was very young.
Mm.
Thank you for touching on that. And, besides anything else that could have made this book happen. I see your mother-in-law as this person who just wanted to make things happen for other people, not just for her. And it's extended also to you. And maybe she saw that you can help and you can be a very important part of her life in pursuing certain things. And you coming from your own home and coming here with your own let's say academics or the positions that you held in the corporate, it also helped in terms of getting her dreams moving forward, because you knew people, you would network, you would get this and that, and it was very easy for her to relate with you because you were actually talking the same things, right?
I learned my community work from her. So, when you're umakoti, you are expected to do a whole lot of things. The cooking is on your side, the cleaning of the house is on your side. The whole house chores now are kind of like left to you to do ABC. And in my case, there was a disaster there because and I didn't know much how to do a lot of house chores. And it's because I was coming straight out of school, out of boarding school. I haven't learned much on these things and stuff like that. So, like after a day after the wedding, there's lots of plates to be washed and so on, right? And my sister was with me, and there's a skill around that. I don't know now where the other people. There's a skill around these big house chores. And it showed that I don't know much about it. My sister knew a whole lot about it. And so she covered up for me, right? And so a month later, my mother now from Cape Town came to Johannesburg. And my husband overheard her talking to his mother saying that, "Hi, Mkosi, you will forgive her of all my children. This is the one who didn't grow up in my house. She was always at school and boarding school and so on. She will learn. She will learn." And so my husband thought that this is a fraudster of a mother now, because the wedding is done, the marriage is done. She's now confessing all manner of things here um, about her child not being able to do work, homework, and stuff like that. My mother-in-law, it turns out she had seen that already. But usually then, they will ridicule you, they will make fun out of you, and so on. What she did with my disaster was she made a call, I think, that I'm going to use her where I can use her, instead of traumatizing her with the household work. She will then learn the household with time. And so, because she was a community worker, my whole ukotiza was done in the community work meetings. Because I had a car, I would take her to the meetings. Masifika payana, I'm serving this tea and scones for these people. I am taking notes sometimes because these NGOs don't have resources and all of that. She made use of me in these community organizations work with her. That is where I learned community work. That's where I learned the NGO work. Um, and so when you fast forward to my time now, number one, I know how to work at home. I know how to clean dishes. I know how to cook. I know how to hold my own when there's a big occasion. I can sit outside and cook in those black pots if I have to. I'm fine with that. But on top of that, she grilled me and groomed me insofar as community work is concerned. And so as a result, even as I sit in business and I'm making decisions, the biggest test for me is what is it likely to do with community ABC? When I sit now as a chairman of the Solidarity Fund here, the whole thing is, yeah, everybody is sick. We have to have masks and sanitizers, but how do I make sure that they get to the rural areas? How do we make sure we do not skip those people who are also supposed to have access to things? Should we have better logistics for that? So my work, even in my job now, I'm tested against community issues, and that really came from her. And yeah.
Okay, ladies, if you have just written on the chat, if you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. We just about, we're almost done, but we are wrapping up nicely. Mama, there's a part in the beginning where you are speaking about your mother-in-law not wanting you to come to stay with her after marriage, and you did not understand it. You took it very bad because you were looking forward to staying with her, even if it was for a couple of months, but your husband was somehow in between, and you felt like your mother-in-law was not welcoming you, but then later on understood what actually she meant. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So there's three of us who were Makotis for her, and she did the same to all of us, right? But in my case, when I'm the second one, in my case, I saw how happy they are as she was very close to her children. It was so nice in that house all the time. She was a disciplinarian, but she was also their friend. And we saw a happy home. Most people, when they get married, they don't want to stay with the in laws, they want their own house. And part of the strife at the beginning is exactly this. In my case, though, I was curious to be there, and so when she was upfront about this, that Gawa, you must go and find a home for your wife. I thought, wow, she doesn't really want me here, and I did express that. What is it that I could have done on day one? That, but in her wisdom, it might be that is why we had such a wonderful time. Because in the end, she says, umakoti makaziqalela indlu yakhe. Every makoti wants to proudly start her own house and uses her pots to cook. And so this thing of walking on each other's toes in this little forum probably is part of the problem. The privacy and so on and so on. Maybe that's why we became very close. But the point at the beginning is that I didn't understand that. And I wasn't happy with it. But today, I actually see it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Okay, I'll open up for questions. Thank you for letting us into your story. And even after the book, there's more that you're saying that adds to what we have seen or read. And for those who are still getting the book, the session will be important because they already have the gist of what it's all about. If there's anyone who wants to say something, and then we'll wrap it up because we normally finish at around just after 7. Anyone who would like to go?
Hi, Techo.
Hi.
I'm so inspired listening to Umama. I think as I'm almost going to 20 years in marriage, I will read this book to prepare, maybe to fix myself where I can, but mostly as I have a son, I think I need to read it as a future mom-in-law.
So I think the interesting part as I'm listening to the story is that mom-in-law loved first, right? So she showed so much love. She gave so much of herself to Umakoti in such a way that when that gruesome mistake, I call it gruesome because wow, I was gonna freak myself. That one of the clothes, no ways. But now, because you've already you could see from the purity of her heart with Norman, she was not out to get me. But if she didn't love you first and take you in as her daughter, then you would not have seen that. So I'm so inspired by how your mom loved you, because I think most of us, we didn't have that, or yeah, whatever. But I'm so inspired, and I wish I can be the mom-in-law that
Thank you,
that your mom was. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ondi. I think also the book is about Mama Tomato and her mother-in-law, but it also says something to us, especially young women who are raising sons, because then it gets you to a point where you see the good at the end of the day thrives, and there's no back to it. Good, the good, you do the good, and then it comes back to you. So you can imagine if you have that heart in the beginning and say, I'm going to prepare myself for when my son brings someone to his life and our lives, and I'm going to be that person, you know? So that is a very great opportunity for us to learn and lead. Taifosa says she's such a formidable leader. I learned so much from her, but this comes from us, Mama Wendy, saying, Mam Tomato has a heart for the community. The works she did for the rural women and communities of Sentani will go down in the history books. I'm proud to have contributed a little to that work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if there's anyone else, last two, and then we'll wrap it up.
Hi, yo, I'm really touched. Like, I am really touched, and I have a bit of envy. Like, there's envy. So I'm one of the women who got married straight after college to a guy that she did not even know, because my family believes in arranged marriages. I'm Swati and he was Xhosa. I'm saying was because we actually ended up divorcing, because you're the mother, the mother, his mother was just not welcoming, you know. And now having to read about women who actually take their time to love somebody's daughter and molding them into a perfect creation, because that's what made Tomato like did, to mold someone's child to become her own. Yeah, that's like it got to my heart, and I'm like, we deserve this. Women are oppressed enough from career, education, expectations of motherhood, and marriage. You get to marry in a family that expects you to be the best. Even if you did not know how to peel an onion, she took her time to make sure that you could. That's a mother. That's there. That is an embody of love, so pure. Wabana Metamata is an angel in a human form. I swear. Yeah. I would pray for my next mother-in-law to be like that. You are so blessed.
You will
I
have
will.
one. Yeah.
I really pray for mine to be like that. This is amazing. This is heartwarming. This is educational. This is inspiring. Because when you tell young people or anyone about marriage, they think of a horrible mother-in-law, horrible family. But today we to read and experience a love of a mother, a definition of it takes a village to raise a child. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Shalami.
Thank you, Shum. Thank you so much. We will also pray for you to get the better one second time around.
Look for one of
We'll
them.
pray for you.
Yeah.
Kolani, there's someone who wants to speak. Lee, you can speak.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies, once again. Mama, I'm just interested that is it in your nature to respond to situations like this? Why am I asking? From the wedding dress, you never took it personally. Is it because you grew up in a family where you were taught to look beyond people and say, I'm not going to focus on the negative? Or is it because maybe you were set down by elders in your family to say, when you get there, the choice is yours, whether they will be your in-laws or your outlaws? Or is it something that is in you? What made you to respond? Because you were only 26 then when you got married, and it was easy for you to throw tantrums at that age, to misinterpret everything that your in-laws are doing. So my question is that what made you to respond to situations like that? Is it something that is in you? Are you coming from that type of a family? Because the truth is, sometimes people fight. Makoti and Mama Zale, they fight. You ask them, why are you fighting? They don't know. I'm fighting just because you are my mother-in-law and I don't like you because you are my daughter-in-law. If you got a mother-in-law that was different from the one that you had, were you going to respond the same way, Mama? Thank you.
It's a tough question. I can claim that I come from a big home, a big family. We brought up my grandfather, all of us, was a priest. And so we grew up in a church environment. And so the issue of love is something we know very well. Churches embrace all of you. You get adopted by all sorts. And so I can learn love from a distance. I know it because I've experienced it. I'm also not lost on when I see hostility and all of that. And I have bumped into situations like that. But the starting point for me is, can I accept that people mean well for me in the first place? And so by the time I bump into these horror stories, you've indulged people, you have given people a chance. So in this case, I got all of that, and I could embrace it, I could accept it. One of the things, Lee, I know maybe somebody will ask this question, is that it must also mean that you must give love back as well. One of those things we do as Omakot is that now you have children. Now you start to believe that only your own mother knows how to bring up children. And so only your own mother will you entrust with your children. When there's there's a woman here who brought up a son for you, who brought up a husband for you, all of a sudden you think your own little princess now can only survive in my mother's home. That is wrong. You've got two grandmothers, and they both dote over these little things. This queen and this princess of yours, and this, uh, and they all want to lay their hands on this child. But one of I don't know, Trifosa, you might have been in that meeting. This girl said to me, she travels a lot, she stays in Midrand, and her mother-in-law is in Tembisa. but her mother is in Vanderbijl Park. When she's going to travel out of the country, or she drives to Vanderbijl Park to drop the kids, and she feels good about it. And then whatever. So when we went through this book, and I speak about this thing of the children, and she says, this mother-in-law is 10 minutes from me, but I drive 2 hours to Vanderbijl Park to drop my children. And then I said, can you test it with your mother-in-law who's in Tembisa? She says, I've never felt so stupid. When I dropped these children with her, it was like Christmas. When I was away, the photos they were sending me buying ice creams and everywhere, you see that this grandmother has been dying for this. But what she said at the end is, when she started going that route, she never knew how kind her husband was. It was a different husband. So they sit quietly, they suffer in silence, and they don't correct these things because they don't want to annoy you. But the thing is, we deprive these mothers-in-laws of our children because we think only our mothers can look after them. Purity is purity. Changing napkins is the same thing. And both women have done this. But for some reason, for this case, you think that my child is safe in Vanderbijl Park when my mother-in-law is just here in Tembisa. So I think there is our obligation as well into this. Show kindness and show trust and show your ability to want to be part of these people. They have their own ecosystem. You find them with it. You want to change it overnight? My word, it will break you before you break them. So I just think that I've given all manner of answers to your questions, but run for love when you see it, grab it, and that's what I saw. And yeah, in my life, in my work, I do bump into hostility, and I know how to deal with it too. But I think your starting point, your default point, must be that of welcoming love and support and indulge people on that instead of judging them even before you sit down. I hope I've answered you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Lee, are you answered?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Okay. You killed me. I kept on laughing because the way you were asking, I was like, yo. But I could understand, I could relate. Dr. Mbola says, this is one of the best mother-in-laws I've ever heard of. You better you than me. And I hope you embody her love and patience. And Trafasa says, Mama Tomatoe, she's such a formidable leader. I learned so much from her. She needs to write a book about leadership. Mama, there's your challenge. We are expecting a book from you about leadership.
That book will never be there because it's a difficult one. But there's a lot of books on leadership, so we're not short of that. I just
Yeah, but
felt that.
They're not the same. Some will be written from love. Some will be written from corporate. Some they won't be the same. It can't be the same.
Thank you for trying, Siho.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Golani says I've learned a lot from Mom Gloria's character as well towards her mother-in-law. It resembled humility. And Tripos also says thank you for the session. Congratulations, Manalo, for providing this platform. And then they're saying, beautiful answer, Mama. I think this when you were answering to Lee, and then she must write it on lived experiences. We need it. Yeah, the experiences that have been lived. Okay, I'm almost done. And I wanted to share with you ladies this for those who are raising sons. Sometimes you're raising your nephews, sometimes you're raising your other relatives' sons, but this lesson will go a long way to you. Mama Tomatoe writes in her book, Mama showed me how to do marriage differently. She gave all her daughters-in-law permission to build their families as they wanted. This set the tone for very different relations between our husbands and ourselves. She honored the wives her sons had chosen. So the lesson here is that realize that the wife your son has chosen is his life partner. Let them define their relationship. It is your responsibility to honor this choice and this relationship. Embrace your new daughter in law as you would want your daughter to be received in her marriage home. There is no need to highlight your daughter in law's faults and weaknesses. She has learned differently. Her home and her past are different. Now that she's in your family, you can help her to do things the way you would prefer. Be kind to your daughter in law. Being kind to your daughter in law will go a long way. Finally, remember that this relationship may result in grandchildren. They will have half of your daughter in law's genes. Loving her is part of loving your future grandchildren. Loving her is part of loving your son. I end it there. Mama, thank you so much for your time again. And you are welcome to say your parting shot. It was my parting shot before I give back to Mulalo. Thank you so much. We appreciate it and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Sekho. My parting shot is really you can all read that I am a pro-marriage person. Uh, I love the system with all its difficulties and flaws. I come from a home, mother, father, whatever you want to call it. I just think that we owe it to our children as well to offer them that. So there's a challenge now between there's a challenge with time. As time goes, we're starting to feel that you don't need that tedious thing called marriage. I do think that we mustn't leave it behind. And when it goes wrong, Shulami, it's just that one that went wrong. Look for love again and get married and find a new family. It is absolutely, absolutely fine. And so the issue here is that let's honor this system. Let's do something about it. Let's respect it. It is not taking anything away from our modern life, our way of doing things. Life is getting better. We can do both, and they can both be successful. These two things, you just have to deal better in terms of your time. The tensions, it's always a question about how do you balance work and life. That's always a question. How do you balance your life, your family life, and career? My response there is that the question is only asked to women, but we have to elegantly answer the question is being asked. But men are not asked this question because the temptation and the expectation is that socially everything is burdened on your shoulders as a wife. But I'm also saying we are lucky in South Africa. We've got extended homes, we've got aunts, we've got rahatis, everyone wants to have lay their hands on this pretty one child who's do that. Share your children with the family. Do what gets done. Use your extended family. People who want to support you. We do have a support system in South Africa. And let's not suffer that as if we are in Europe. And so this tension between work and family life, there is a system that we do have of sharing, of using the support that we've got. Parting shot for me, I know that with you guys, this marriage thing is a nuisance. I'm saying actually, try it. It is also nice. And let's make it work.
Thank you, Mom. Siyabonga. Mulalo says, I'm from Jolo, so I think she's saying, yes, let's get married. And then she loves Mujolo. She will not stop anything else to talk before she talks about Mujolo. So
Absolutely.
she
Yeah,
loves
it
Mujolo.
starts there. Yeah, it starts there.
Yeah, Lee says, thank you so much, ma'am. I'll be teaching about in-laws or outlaws. The choice is yours. I learned so much from tonight's session. And then Leo Moloi says, I love that. With that, ladies, I'm done. We are done. Back to you, Presscom. Thank you so much for the opportunities. Thank you guys for coming in, showing up. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tsecho. And thank you, Mayor Gloria Serobe, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you coming and share this. And when you ended by saying you're pro-marriage, I was like, yo, she's talking to me. I call it mjolo because I think even if you're married, joling with your partner must never
Yes.
end at the altar. I'm 6 years in, and when Ondiso was like 20 years, I was like, yo, because we haven't met, some of us, and I was like, yo, I thought you were still young, maybe just from high school or just finished varsity, but we are
Yeah.
in different paths of our marriages, and having someone come and share this wisdom with us, we really appreciate it. Unfortunately for me, this is the first time that I'm hearing of beautiful stories around mothers-in-law. And when I was reading the book, I was like, yo, your father-in-law did what? Taught you to drive? Your mother-in-law did what? And it was so positive in such a way that I was like, wow, we need to hear more of these stories. And how we ended up here, I'm the one that recommended the book. We do the book recommendations closer to the end of the year. And it was through Prof. Dinyuko Maluleke. He also shared an article in August last year doing a book review around your book. And I was like, this is what we need as Empowered Women Book Club, because we've been running our book club for the past 6 years. And we put together the list to say in the next year, this is what we are reading. So I am so honored. I am so grateful that you are here with us tonight. And thank you so much, Tsecho, for getting the author to join us tonight. Yeah, you do make miracles, Tsecho, and this is much appreciated. So, ladies, as an announcement, the next book for next month is Noma Swazi by Busekile Kumalo. Busekile is no stranger to the book club. She's a member of our book club. I think this will be the third of her books, or maybe the fourth, that we are reading. I think it's the third one that we'll be reading officially as the book club. So do reach out to her, get a copy of the book, and then we shall meet on Sunday, 28 September 2025. So, ladies, thank you once again and have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama. Bye.
Bye.